Again, hello to everyone. Let's continue our discussion of consensus property. In the previous property, we talked about property 17a, but now we're going to talk about the property 17b. So, in 17a, you considered some of the products, but in this particular tutorial, we're going to consider how to use consensus theorem in order to minimize the product of sums. So, as you know, we start this discussion of theorem if you've watched the previous tutorial. So, consider you're given, this kind of expressions. So, as I've told you, in the consensus theorem, you just add one element. Let's say these are in the whole bracket expressions, okay? One element, one expression to the function, and your objective is firstly to find out what to add, of course, right? So consider you're given this kind of function, let's say, and now let's consider this function, and you choose 2 or 3 elements, doesn't matter, okay? You don't have to choose all elements. While finding out what element to add, what kind of expression to add, you don't have to consider all the 3 elements, just consider 2, this is enough, okay? So consider you're given this element, here. So as I told you, you only choose for expression, you only choose the element which doesn't have its negation in another element. For example, you can see that there's a b, right? There's a b, and you look in this expression, does b have here its negation? No, right? So you write, let's say here, you write here b, because you add b to your new expression, because b doesn't have its negation in another element, another expression. So you look at c, does c has its negation, have its negation in another element? No, you write c, and you look at d, right? You look at this expression, does d, okay, this is negation, it's not negation, does d have its negation in this particular expression? No, you write d, but you can't write a bar or a, because a has its negation in another element, it's a bar, right? And a bar has its negation in another element, it's going to be a. So you're going to just copy this, and a bar plus d, yeah, you're going to have this expression, the whole expression, and this is going to be added, right? This is going to be added by using consensus law, and in fact these are both are same, yeah, same. The value of the expression, the whole expression, doesn't change. Just remember, doesn't change when you add something, this expression using consensus law, okay? This is just has been added in order to make your life easier, in order to minimize the function. So let's consider the second example. So here we have, let's firstly copy existing 2 expressions, and let's write our new expression in a red color. So as you can see, there's a b, there's no b, right? So I'm going to write b, plus there's a c, but there's no c. So I'm going to write c. I'm not going to write a, because there is a bar. I'm not going to write a bar, because there's a. A is a negation of a bar is negation of a. So we don't write it, okay? We don't consider those. So now let's apply this knowledge that we have now gained, let's say, in minimizing this expression or this function, let's say. So okay, see, the very first thing is to find out, find out which element. Okay, have I copied everything clearly? Yeah, the very first thing is to find out this this a, because when you see a, right, and when you see a bar in the another expression, it's pretty easy to guess that now you can use consensus theorem, okay? So I am also solving this currently for the first time. So let's analyze this function where you can see this a. So okay, so can we take this x3? What do you see? We can take x3 because there's also, I mean, x3 bar, because there's also x3 bar, there's also x3 bar, right? But we need, I mean, if it's a, we need a bar. So what we can take, so for example, let's guess. I'm just showing you the way of solving, the way of finding out this element and using consensus theorem. So we can take x3 bar. So let's look at x2. Can we take x2 bar as a? So in order to take this as a, we have to find out in another element x2, because x2 is a negation of x2 bar. So there's x2 bar, but we need x2. There's no x2. So x2 is also we can take just, okay. So I see that there's only way to take x1, because here x1, I mean x1 bar, because here x1, and x4 because there's x4, and here is x4 bar. So let's for this case, let's take x1 as a. So let me copy here again, x1 plus x2 bar plus x3 bar multiplied to x1 plus x3 bar plus x4 bar. And I'm gonna copy this one, x2 plus x3 bar plus x4. So we're taking this as a, right? And we're taking this as, let's say, as the elements, as the whole elements, which don't have its negation in another element, another expression. For example, x3, there's x3 bar, there's no x3, there's x3 bar. It's okay. I mean, let's say if it's b, this is also b, it's okay. So if it's let's say okay, let's write like that. If it's c, there's no c bar, okay, that's okay. So there's x4 bar, let's say it's d, there's no x okay, let's say d bar, x4, so that's okay. So now we're going to write our this expression, our new expression. So very first line, let's copy this too, okay, x1 plus x2 bar plus x3 bar multiplied to x1 plus x3 bar plus x4 bar. So now I'm going to write a new expression that we have created, let's say, using consensus property 17b. So it's going to be, so c b d. I'm going to write b one time, because there's no point of writing b two times. I mean, b plus b is always b, right? So our c is x2 bar, our b is, just look at that, bro, x3 bar. So our d is x4 bar. So I'm going to copy now this one. Yeah, we have successfully used consensus law, but using it's useless. That's useless if you don't know how to minimize the further. So let's look at the expression, I mean this whole function one more time, in order to see what this consensus law has given us in order to make our life easier in minimizing the function. So now let's see, I can see that here we have x2 bar plus x3 bar, and here also we have x2 bar, x3 bar, and look, we have x4 bar and x4. Let's say x2 bar plus x3 bar is a, and let's say x4 is x4 bar here b. So x2 bar, x3 bar is going to be a, here plus sign, multiplication, and just x4 is going to be b bar, because x4 bar is b, right? x4 bar is b, x4 is going to be b bar. So in the previous tutorials, I hope you have seen that this is a formula, right? I mean, a plus b, I'm writing the lowercase letters, a plus b bar is always going to be a. This is just a formula, right? You can prove it, but we have already proved it in our previous DLC tutorials. So now let's apply this formula here. So what does it mean? That overall, this multiplication of these two, okay, let me write in different color. Multiplication of these two expressions, right, is going to be just big capital A or lowercase a, and this is going to be just x2 bar plus x3 bar, right? So you see, the previously when this function was given, I mean this whole function, it was not possible to use this property, but after using consensus theorem, our life became easier. So now we can apply another, let's say, logical laws to minimize our function. So we use this function thanks to using consensus property, okay, thanks to adding this expression in the right color. So let's continue. Instead of this multiplication of this two expression in the yellow frame, I'm going to write this one. Yeah, I'm going to substitute it with this one. So let's continue, and let's continue not from here, from here. So I'm going to copy these two elements expressions, x1 plus x2 bar plus x3 bar multiplied to x1 plus x3 bar plus x4 bar, and this is going to be multiplied to now to this x2 bar plus x3 bar. Is this 3? Sorry, now, yeah. And again, I'm seeing another way, I mean a way to use another formula. Let's see. So we have here what, x2 bar x3 bar, right? And here also we have x2 bar x3 bar. So so now what we have is x2 bar, I mean here, plus x3 bar. Let's consider them separately, multiplied to this one, okay. So x1 is this one, right, plus x2 bar x3 bar, and this is also another property, and this equals to, let's say this x2 bar x3 is a, x1 is b, and this is, of course, here we have this bar is a. So we have a multiplied b plus a. So let's open the brackets, multiply it to this one, to this one. So we have ab plus a multiplied to a, and you know that a multiplied to a, or let's say a and operation, a is always a. For example, if a is 1 multiplied to 1, I mean, is going to be 1. If a is 0, 0 multiplied to 0 is going to be 1, right? So let me delete it, right? So that's why I'm going to just write, instead of a multiplied to a, just a. So now we have what? A, b plus a. I'm going to take a out of the bracket. Yeah, this one and this one. So what we have left is a multiplied b plus, instead of this a, I'm going to write just 1. And you know that 1 plus anything is just always 1. So we have proved that this is a, right? The answer is a. So in this particular case, our a is x2 bar plus x3 bar. So what does it mean? That instead of writing this expression and this expression, I mean, yeah, let's write in different color. Yeah, instead of the multiplication of this is this, instead of these two expressions, I mean, yeah, we've proved that the multiplication of this is going to be x2 bar plus x3 bar. So I'm going to substitute these two elements, this one and this one, with this one. So let me write it here. So instead of these two elements, I'm going to write just x2 bar plus x3 bar, and I'm multiplying it to this one, right? I haven't touched it. x1 plus x3 bar x4 bar. Yeah, this is the end. This is the minimum okay, this is the minimum product of sums, and this is how you can use consensus theorem. So initially it was a little bit difficult how to minimize it, but once we used consensus theorem and added this expression v plus c, actually this is this expression x2 bar plus x3 bar plus x4. Once we've used consensus theorem and added this one to the function, our life became easier. So then we have used not just one but two properties. This property and and this property, and this two properties then gave us another properties, right? Gave us the final answer, which is this one. So this is how we can use consensus property 17b. So if you haven't checked the first video where we discussed consensus property 17a, just please watch it. And if you have any kind of questions, please contact us through our Telegram bot or write your question in the forum. Be active, and please support us with your likes and comments. See you soon in our next tutorial.